Hello again! Today I'll show you what my finished 2D character model looks like. Maybe someone will find it interesting. I'll show the full rig, bone binding, IK, mover, and constraints. If you're curious about how I draw the mesh, you can check out any separate time-lapse video. After creating the mesh, the skeleton is built. It all starts with creating two movers responsible for movement along the X and Y axes. In other words, if I need to move or shake the character, I use these movers. First, I create the X mover, then the I mover from previous, and then I attach the first pelvic bone to the I mover, the bone from which the entire skeleton originates. From the pelvic bone, two bones are created along the spine, with a point bone at the top, but it's not required. From this point, I create the collarbones with similar point bones. Then I create free bones along the layers of the arm. In my case, I prepared all the finger layers, and you can probably already see the familiar system with an almost useful point bone and a chain of 3 bones. Let's return to the first useful point. Here, bones for the neck and head are also created in a chain. Everything that is part of the head is naturally attached to the head bone. A separate chain is created for the hair, along with a useful point. If a hair strand needs to be moved, this point will act as a mover. You can learn everything about the eye system in my separate video. Here, I'll just mention that the main root bones of the structures are also attached to the head, as well as the movers for the pupils and blinking. In this case, the chain for the ears is the same as for the hair. But if the ears are simple, a single useful point will be enough. To animate the sleeves, I created 2 chains on the sides that are attached to the forearm bones. The same goes for the dress and everything below. All the chains are attached to the pelvic bone. Let's talk about IK rigging. If you create any IK and move the skeleton, it's clear that it needs to be attached. But where? The collarbone or this useful point would work for that. After the IK for the arms, I create IK for the fingers and attach them to the palm bone. Sometimes IK doesn't work properly due to interference with each other, and that's because the correct order needs to be set in the IK list. As for the movers that create 3D depth, that's a complex topic for a separate video. In short, these points are attached to the area that we're going to rotate. The information in this video is a bit on the surface, but I hope someone was able to resolve some of their burning questions. Subscribe, leave a comment, and see you next time.